Beyond.
Hello, everybody. My name's Greg Miller, and this is Podcast Beyond, episode 147.
Ooh.
I'm alongside my hetero life mate, Ryan Clements.
Hello, how's it going?
The guide's guru, Colin Moriarty.
I'm here. Hello.
And the guide's end boss, Mark Ryan Salih.
Hey, yo.
What's up?
Not too much.
All right, good. Mark Ryan, cover yours for a while. Colin, Ryan,
Yes.
it's time for us to have a conversation.
Okay.
Last week I wasn't on Podcast Beyond.
Okay.
I was in Comic-Con. I was doing a lot of work. I was busy. I was hosting panels.
That's
We'll
totally
get to
fine.
that. They went
I
well.
want to hear about those, by the way.
They went very well.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
I listened to Podcast Beyond, and I was actually a little bit upset.
Okay.
And I want to say a little bit. I mean very upset.
What?
Okay.
You guys have no balls, and I somewhere when the great winds of change swept the face of IGN and carved out our Mount Rushmores, we were all very excited. We said, all right, this is going to be our podcast. We're going to be great. Somewhere along the lines, you all started coming to me for approval on everything, and it makes me very upset. You guys, there's no more PlayStation team, but you're Team PlayStation. We are the three definitive voices on this platform.
Okay.
You don't like Mary Boff Kill? Say you don't like Mary Boff Kill. You outvote me. I don't care. Just don't do Mary Boff Kill anymore. Colin,
What?
I'm knee deep in Comic-Con. You have this awesome feature idea that's going to get 1 million clicks. Just do it. Don't worry about me. You're Colin Moriarty. You're God's guru. The PlayStation voice. I got people on the infamous panel talking to me about you. Trust me. You're okay.
Oh,
Believe in yourself. Clements.
Yes.
You know what you're doing. You build the pages all the time. You're on
Not
top
all
of
the
it.
time.
You got it.
All right.
We are Team PlayStation. Listeners, you are Team PlayStation.
Don't keep hitting the table. You're going to stop the show.
Email beyond@ign.com. We try to make it, we do what the show you want to do. This is all very laid back. It's a conversational podcast. You two need to start believing in yourselves. I'm not any
All right.
more
I'm just going to
important than
publish
you.
whatever I want.
There
on
you
the
go.
internet.
Thank you. Start reviewing PS1 games again. Go and change all their scores.
Editorial. Why the Infamous will always be the greatest game of all time.
Why the infamous?
Fair
Right.
enough.
Can I uncover my ears now?
Yeah, you're good now. Sorry,
good.
This wasn't really related to you.
So what would just happen?
Nothing. I had to make them believe in themselves again.
Oh, okay.
I believe I can fly.
They had been tricked by titles and such not to believe in themselves anymore. Especially this Colin kid.
Don't
Put
pay
a head on his
attention.
shoulders.
Don't
Lots
pay
of great,
attention to
lots of great
titles.
PlayStation ideas. Works on them when he goes home.
Yep.
And he gets all
Always
terrified
working.
that, oh man, I don't know. This feature seems like it's gonna be really complicated and cool. I don't know if I should do it. If you don't, well, he always does it very passive aggressively. It's gonna be great. It's gonna get all these. But if you don't like it, man, it's cool. I said, well, no, I don't want content on my site, please.
Well, it's not my channel. You know.
It is your channel. You are part of IGN Team PlayStation.
All right, fair
I'm gonna
enough.
get you shirts. That's the only way to convince you kids.
I'm
these
excited.
days.
Well, thank you very much. That was very
Oh, that
nice
was
of you
good.
to
You
say.
had to lift us back up. I appreciate
You're welcome. I love you both.
I didn't feel oppressed at all. I just like being a team player and not making executive decisions when
You
the
need
whole
to.
team isn't here.
Well, see, that's the thing. We're Team PlayStation. You guys,
Okay.
we got a trinity of power here. 2 votes to carry a motion. That's all I'm saying.
2 votes.
Yeah, and by the way, show excellent last week.
Thank you.
Had a great time.
Roper report, 40 minutes.
I know. I enjoyed that. That was a very lengthy Roper report. That was awesome. No, everybody knows I love a show when I'm not on it, and it's always fun to listen to you guys. You nailed it. You
Oh,
did
great.
dynamite there.
Thank
Mark Ryan,
you.
these kids, I tell you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you very
much.
know.
Right on.
It's like, the 3 ninjas. That's what it is.
Can I be Tum Tum?
Sure. Rocky loves the
You look like Colt.
Like Colt?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, what's the other
that
guy,
movie
the
very
middle
much.
kid?
I think it said
Rocky.
Colt was the middle one.
Wasn't
Oh,
there
okay.
Rocky.
like a
loves-
direct-to-DVD sequel
Oh,
or
yeah.
something?
Hulk
of that
Hogan was in
movie?
it.
There was 2 of them.
Really?
I think.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan was
3
in one of
Ninjas
those
Kick
sequels.
Back, right?
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. I just remember was it the grandfather or uncle or the old, whatever? Who's the old man that was teaching him all their moves?
He was like wasn't he a family friend or
Pedophile.
something?
maybe
He was
it
just
was
a
a
family- he
pedophile.
was the next door neighbor they called Uncle, who was the pedophile.
He's a pedophile.
Oh, man.
I just remember one scene in that movie, and I thought about it recently, so it's so bizarre that you guys brought it up, where they're like, the pedophile uncle is trying to sneak onto this boat for some reason.
Yeah.
And there's this one scene where like his shadow comes coming up to behind the guy to give him the
Crash
judo
up.
chop, but it looks so comical. The shadow shuffling up behind on the wall. It was so great.
I'm getting that on Netflix. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
You know, you know what? Just randomly about 3 Ninjas, I came out to California to visit my aunt and uncle, and I guess I came out 92 or something like that. I remember I had my Super Mario World instruction manual that I was reading on the plane or
Oh,
whatever, and I saw
God.
3 Ninjas when I was was out here, so that was my first memory of California.
It
It's
is the
13
quintessential California.
Yeah, it is.
Flick.
How long did that manual last you on the plane?
That long.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it was like, when you're like
You're just gonna hunker down with this manual for
I was
3
obsessed
minutes.
though with like back when instruction manuals were cool and like they had all the enemy illustrations.
they-
I was like
like-
tracing them and so you could that could give you
what
hours
a gamer!
Those
What
were
a
the
gamer
days,
you
man.
were!
Those were the
Oh
days.
man,
of fun.
that's
Those were
great.
the days.
Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful.
Let's get the show started proper like we always do with what is and forever will be the Roper Report.
It's time for some news.
There's always a moment in the Roper Report intro where I start freaking out about what my part is. Like, wait, do I say time for news? Crap. No. What's about to happen?
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I just go do.
Yeah.
I still do that. The big news, Colin, what is it?
What were we gonna talk about? SOCOM 4?
No, not yet.
No.
The biggest news.
LittleBigPlanet.
For you and I
PlayStation 3 sales.
to come out of Comic-Con.
Oh, Infamous 2.
Thank you very much. There's been a lot of big news since
You
Comic-Con.
spoiled everything, Colin.
Now you can just shut off the podcast.
As people remember, I went to Comic-Con last week and I hosted 2 panels. They went swimmingly. Got to give a huge shout out to all the Beyond fans there. I did an
Yeah,
Uncharted.
how
that
did it
was
go?
awesome.
How were you received?
Last year, I did the Uncharted 2 panel.
All right.
And I would say 15% of the crowd gave me a fat Beyond when it started.
Okay.
This year, the Infamous 2 panel, probably 80 to 85% of that crowd yelled Beyond as loud as they could when it went. It was phenomenal.
right.
It was
Really?
awesome. Yeah. I stay for after, sign autographs, take photos, all the whole 9 yards and whatnot.
That's pretty cool.
And then DC Universe was similar. I mean, but I was on there with Mark Hamill, so people want to talk to Mark Hamill afterwards more than they want to talk to me. But I still took a few snapshots.
Did you get to? So you got to talk to Mark Hamill, huh?
Only on the panel and then really briefly afterwards. Like, he was supposed to do an interview, but his schedule got mixed up, so he couldn't.
Nice guy. Was he having getting good vibes from
he's a
him?
ham. He's a great. He would be
Yeah.
good on Podcast Beyond.
Yeah.
He would just get along right in here.
All
But yeah,
right.
he was.
Beautiful.
He kept it rolling. An MMO panel could slow down there, but no, he kept it going with
Uncle
laughs for
Owen.
everybody.
This droid's got a bad
That's
power
what he said.
converter.
One kid asked a Star Wars question. And he hurled a ninja star at his face. No, it was great. But before the Infamous panel, I went and met with Sucker Punch and Sony to go over what they wanted to talk about, how they were going to break it down. And in it, they handed me a manila envelope. I opened it up. I was told I'm the only person outside of Sucker Punch to see this. Sony hadn't even seen it yet. The higher-ups there. I opened it up. It was 2 images of Cole, but not the Cole we know from Infamous 2, Colin.
Oh, good.
This is a Cole who looks much more like the Infamous, or the star of Infamous 1.
Is he still different though?
He is still different, kind of. He's not done yet, and they said I could announce that I had seen it and stuff, but I couldn't give you specifics. So he's still different. He's not the exact same guy, but these are changes that make sense. If you were to imagine Cole in a new game based on what you know from the old Cole, this would make sense. You'd be like,
So
oh, this looks like the same guy.
If you had seen these pictures originally instead, you would have not have lost your stuff.
Correct. I would not have been that sobbing game scoop where I was like going crazy over the cover. This makes sense. This looks like the same man. These are all natural progressions.
May I say that kudos to Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Kudos to Sucker Punch for listening to their fans about what they want in this game, because this game's much anticipated. This game's going to do great.
So you don't believe in art?
Huh? No, I believe in art very much, but like the vision, they're not making a vision just for themselves, although they are in a way, but the game has to sell and be commercially viable and please people. And I would have bought the game. I'm sure it's going to be great either way. We played it, and it's fun.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But they listened, and that's really cool. You don't see that very often, I don't think.
Interesting thing though. This is a good conversation to have, Colin, especially with other people in the room. So it's just not 2 Infamous fanboys going back and forth. Did they do the right thing here, though, in general? Here's my problem. I asked the question when I got to announce the news at the panel, well, why'd you change him or whatever? And they're like, well, fans said he looked too generic. They weren't happy with him, so we changed him.
Right.
Later on in the question and answer session, a fan asked, why'd you change the voice? They said, you guys said you didn't like the voice. We changed it. At what point does a developer have to say, that's not a valid criticism? This is Cole. This is what he looks like. This is how he sounds. That's our character.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Sly, there weren't as much expectations on, right? Maybe. So Sly comes out, it's a hit. Maybe they weren't expecting to do as well as it did. So there was never really that, we don't like Sly's, black eye mask, and we don't like his stupid hat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or his crook. No.
Stupid hat.
I think there was a lot of expectations on Infamous, so they maybe were more receptive, you think?
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing this is kind of what's puzzling to me anyway, is that, with Cole's original character, if they were going to say, in other words, like what you were saying was, this is Cole, this is how he sounds, this is how he looks, That would have been fine if they carried Cole over to the second game from the first game and everyone complained. And that would be a valid response, is to be like, this is Cole, But they changed him, and so that isn't really then you can't say, well, this is Cole, this is the character, this is how we want him to be and sound, because he already looked differently and sounded differently in another game. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I can relate to what they're trying to do, because I'd like to think that if I was in a game studio and I was making games, that I would be exactly like these guys at Sucker Punch, and Nate Fox and all those guys really have their ears down and are listening to what people want or whatever. And I think I would do the same thing. So I actually give them a lot of credit. I actually want Cole's old voice back too, but I know that's not going to happen. I liked his voice.
Did you watch the cutscene we have up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, he's got a much more old Cole sounding voice than that. I found that interesting as well.
So yeah, I mean, so they're going back. Whatever. I'm excited about it. I'm sorry. You said something about how someone called me out at Sucker Punch about the
pants.
Yeah,
the
Union
pants. Jack thing. They're like, okay. Yeah.
So I feel bad about that. I never even noticed that on the original Cole, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think.
Yeah.
But,
if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, we did a Rewind Theater, and Colin was yelling about the Union Jack symbol. He called it on Cole's pants. And the guys were like, he had that on the original game. It was just very small. So, Mark Ryan, what do you think? Is this a good or bad thing? Did they, knee-jerk reaction to fan reaction?
I mean, if I were making games and I'm not, I wouldn't listen to anybody, but then also my games probably wouldn't sell anything. I mean, I think if their ultimate goal is to make a successful franchise and to satisfy the people that liked the last game, it was the right decision. But their goal was, I mean, that's what this game is. It's not a flower or something like that where you're expecting 100% creator expression. So
right.
Lance, you fine with the choice?
Yeah, I was one of the rare people that didn't really care either way, because I assumed that I would, probably enjoy the game and look pretty cool. But I liked the original Cole design, so I'm happy to see it back.
Okay,
it's totally fine. I think what he should have, though, is be like way more effeminate and have like big spiky hair.
Oh, okay.
And
with a giant sword.
A gun sword.
And there's a gun sword, and he does kind of have this weird sword electricity thing.
The cattle prod, yes.
And he also he should have way more buckles and zippers on his outfit.
Can we call him Cloud?
No.
Change his name to Cloud.
Call him Squall.
Oh, actually, Cole almost is very close to Cloud. I was going to try and combine the names together, but I couldn't because they were both C names.
Cloud.
Cloud.
I saw the guy you're describing in Garberville, California, last week on my way home.
How did that go?
He was just walking around, going to a gas station.
Huh? Nice.
Yeah, he looked exactly
You
like.
posted about that on the Facebook, didn't you?
It's possible.
Yeah,
he looked like a Kingdom Hearts / Final Fantasy character, but he was not dressed up he wasn't dressed up as that. That was just him.
That was just him. Was he?
He was a little dirty.
Was this like a young guy, or is this?
Yeah, he was probably early 20s.
Yeah. All right.
He was just out grinding for experience.
Yeah.
He was out just slaying some slugs, trying to get those 1 and 2s, get them out, experience them a little bit.
Grinding.
Let's take back the Roper Report, name for IGN podcast Beyond. I can't remember our own podcast name sometimes. Alumnus Chris Roper, now over at Zipper Interactive.
I saw him last week.
Did you?
I did.
How's he doing?
Yeah, seems to be doing well.
Who else did you see?
Did he scream Beyond?
No, he didn't.
No.
He's already forgotten.
Did he scream Zip?
No, he didn't do that either.
But he saw someone else too. That might be interesting to. Didn't you see more than Chris Roper?
Jeremy
Yeah, I saw Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just saw Jeremy and Chris.
Alumnus.
So 2 alumnus
Yep,
there.
yep.
Podcast Beyond.
Yeah.
Some of the
Alumni.
founding
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
fathers. I am the ghost of Amadeus Harko.
Oh, no. God. So,
What's the origin of the name Beyond anyway?
that
Play
was their
Beyond, right?
Yeah, that was their marketing slogan in the
marketing
beginning.
campaign.
And they eventually gave up on it, and then we started a podcast. We're like, well, we'll just make fun of it the whole time by saying Beyond.
Gotcha.
And then
I like that
first
our
episode-
podcast names make fun of the thing that we're talking about. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a delightful tease.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
contented.
It's friendly.
Yeah.
Well, way back in the day, Chris Roper previewed a game called Metalocalypse, and he did not like it. This is based on some Cartoon Network show.
Oh.
It never looked good. I went and played it at Comic-Con too. I was like, this game no good. And this was last year, 2 years ago, maybe. It's been a while.
It's got to have been 2 years ago.
This week, Konami announced, we're not putting that game out. We are canceling. It's surprising because there's been such a push for it. It seems like I can't go around a corner without hearing about this game.
Yeah.
It's coming soon. It's going to do this. Konami
Sarcasm,
said they're not
by
doing
the way.
that with sarcasm.
Okay, yeah.
That
Also-
and 6 days from Fallujah, or whatever. It's 6 days in Fallujah. They've abandoned that game too.
Same reason, I bet. They didn't
I
have
really
the
wanted
balls
that game,
to put
though.
it out.
Yeah.
You really want a 6 days?
Yeah.
Why?
I bet that game's gonna be awesome because no one makes games that tell riveting real stories about recent history like that. You know, that's so new. That's a fresh
Rogue Warrior.
mood.
That is my response to that.
Yeah, but Rogue Warrior takes place even during the Cold War.
And Dick Marcinko's still alive though, telling a story in video game form.
Fallujah happened in like what 04.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And just like Rogue Warrior, it would have been great.
yeah. Well, I'm sure it wasn't very good. It looked like a squad-based game or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Also, Chris Roper news. SOCOM 4 delayed. Yeah. Everybody knows
Probably
Roper
not a
done
bad
over
delay,
there.
though,
doing-
right?
No, I'm totally fine with it. I don't mind delays at all. If you are looking at your game and you're like, rough around the edges, don't force it. Never. You know what I mean?
Right.
Totally. We don't want that. Mark Ryan?
I totally
You
agree.
don't want no forced bad games?
Yeah.
I think.
I got other things to do. I can
You can bide
fill
your
my time. Yeah.
What are you gonna do with? You're not gonna buy the move, and you just play Sports Champions until SOCOM comes out, I guess.
Yeah. You want to do some archery?
I'm just gonna sleep actually.
I went to bed, not last night, but the night before at 9 o'clock. And I woke
Whoa.
up so excited and ready to go.
Yeah, I
was
have
so
those.
happy.
Yeah, isn't that great? I have
I
that
was still
every once
run
in a
down
while.
from Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and I was in such a terrible mood. And it was just because like the problem with our job, I feel, is you go see games and you get all excited for them, and you come home and like none of the games you have are the game you want to play.
Yep.
Because you want to, like right now, we'll get to this in Reader Mail. I'm really jazzed up right now for DC Universe Online. Like I really want to play that, and so nothing scratches that itch. So I was all grumpy about it every day after Comic-Con, or since Comic-Con, and I was so tired. And then I tried to find 3D Game Heroes out of the library, and I couldn't open the library cabinets, and then I couldn't find it, and I was all pissed off. And I texted Steimer, who knows what's going on with the cabinets, but she's in Seattle. She didn't respond. I started walking home. I got like around the block. I got a message from her telling me where the game was. I came back in. All those cabinets were locked. I was furious.
I gave you the copy I had.
I know, but it was
all
the day after. You understand that?
Yeah, yeah.
It
No,
doesn't-
I understand.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for Dante's Inferno, which isn't in the library anymore. So.
I can lend you mine.
Oh, okay, cool. That'd be great.
Grumpy Greg is a scary sight to
I do,
behold.
because there's nothing.
It's rare.
You ever? Yeah, I get grumpy and there's nothing I can do to stop it. You ever get that? You're like I want what was gonna fix it? DC Universe Online. Well, I don't have that.
You know.
And then
what?
I'd go home and I tried to play Netflix on the PS3 and that disc doesn't work anymore for me. It's
Yeah,
like,
people are having that
God
problem.
damn
Hey,
it.
my disc stopped working too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is up with that?
I don't know. It was a perfect disc, and look at it, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I know. It plays every other Blu-ray and DVD I have, but no.
I gotta get on that Netflix action at some point.
Just wait for the firmware update.
It shouldn't be too much longer, right? They said they announced that
by
that's
October,
coming.
I think.
Okay.
Here's something though.
Yeah.
That the listener should keep in mind, and that you should keep in mind, Greg Miller.
Okay.
I have heard, and maybe I'm totally just thinking of something that I made up, but there's a chance that it's real. That even if you're in a terrible mood and you're all grumpy and you're just storming around, if you force yourself to smile, it actually triggers like a chemical reaction which does help improve your mood. Even if you don't want to smile, if you just make yourself smile, it actually helps. Not a total cure, but
Interesting.
think about
What
it.
I did instead is I went home and ate Chinese food and watched Batman and Superman: Public Enemies on Blu-ray.
That also
That
works.
seemed to help. That helped.
Okay,
that was
good,
a good movie.
good.
I like
How's
that.
the Chinese food?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Yeah,
What'd you
I
get?
get
Do you like the
bamboo.
Kung Pao chicken?
No, I go General Chow's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I
There's a
meant.
difference.
And
Yeah,
I said Kung Pao
Yeah.
for some reason.
I used to confuse them early on too, and the Kung Pao was
General
never as good.
Tso.
Yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
All right, back to the news.
All right.
Capcom vows to increase software output on key franchises, says Colin Moriarty.
Yeah, well, that was a story that I guess Riley put up yesterday.
Yeah, Capcom's not really known for sequels.
No,
Yeah,
they don't.
wow.
They usually really just publish one game, and they kind of just like are like, "This is my artistic vision." They're not going to put another game out. So,
Flower 2.
yeah, I guess they were
Return to the
talking
flower.
most about key franchises like Resident Evil. Obviously, they're flooding Mega Man too, because Mega Man Universe is coming out. I'm almost certain they're working on Mega Man 11, and then they tease Mega Man Legends 3 at Comic-Con in like a kind of roundabout way. So
Wait. Mega Man Legends 3?
Mhm.
Is that like adventure RPG type game?
no, it was like a third-person action game on PlayStation. The
Yeah,
first one
that's the
came
one
out.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, it
with
wasn't really.
Tron, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really RPG-ish though. I mean,
Yeah, you're
it
right.
had like upgrades. I guess, but-
I more meant the adventure thing. I remember, wasn't there like a little city area that you could kind of run around in?
Yeah.
I remember really liking going around, running around.
That game was a lot of fun.
Can you jump on top of a car or no?
I don't
Or like
remember.
a street car?
I don't really remember.
Maybe I'm
that.
thinking of Kingdom Hearts 2. 'Cause I
But,
used to ride the streetcar around a lot.
People have been really asking, like, Legends was really good. It came out in 98. I mean, it's a long time ago. I got it for my birthday, I remember, in 9th grade. And then Legends 2 came out, and the Trombone Adventures of Trombone came out, but then they abandoned that series. So people have been asking
They were
for
not
it for a long time.
abandoned.
So they're coming
They were
back.
borrowed from Marvel vs. Capcom too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that was one. I mean, that was timely for them to have Servbot and Trombone and Marvel vs.
I
Capcom
thought
too.
that they came in Legends first and then went over to Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, he was just saying that they
Oh,
they
okay.
forgot the
Okay,
franchise.
Gotcha,
but no.
gotcha. Yeah. They were brought over.
So that's that's not exactly rare. I mean, we have Street Fighter 4 last year, then Super Street Fighter 4 this year, and they already announced another Street Fighter 4 for the arcade. That's gonna have more characters.
They announced that Super Street Fighter or whatever Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Yeah, Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I counted. I'm sorry, Cross.
And Tekken Cross Street Fighter. And Street Fighter 3 is coming out on XBLA and PlayStation Network, I guess.
There's a lot of Street Fighters to keep track of here, folks.
The fire's hot. They want to jump in.
Yep.
So I don't really actually that story is kind of a non-story, isn't it?
What?
Here's a little hint.
Capcom story. I mean, that's kind of par for the course.
Yeah. Not a big deal. Yeah.
Here's a little hint for remembering all the Street Fighters and like figuring out which one you play. All right.
Yeah.
You just don't play any of them.
Oh. Burn. You gonna go with the Blaze Blue?
No, I was just making a joke.
BlazBlue fan.
I love Street Fighter.
You got to go play Rival Schools.
Yeah, Rival School. I remember that.
What is it? Street Fighter just not nonsense enough for you?
No, Street Fighter's great.
It's too late. You've now given out your.
Yeah, you're right. I hate all fighting games.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's about time you admitted it.
No, you only like the ones that are nonsense.
Oh yeah, the nonsense ones. The ones that are totally legit and not nonsensical.
The ones that have nonsense going on in them, where you look at it and you're like, what is this?
What are my buttons doing?
Those are the fighting games that you
She's
like.
some kind of robot with spaghetti in his mouth. I don't know what's happening. She's 12.
Robot with spaghetti in her where?
Mouth.
Mouth.
Come on now. Quick hit news stories.
Yeah.
My IGN has launched. This is a social networking service here on IGN. You do like little Twitter updates. You get points. You level up. It's kind of like chasing your PSN trophy level.
What level are you?
I'm a level 4 right now.
Nice. But it is in beta.
Yeah, so a lot of things that don't work. This is where you're supposed to play around with it and then tell them. There's a feedback little thing you click on. Please tell us what doesn't work, what you'd like to see changed. Engineering will do it. Me and Clements will not. We're not going to do anything
we're not
remotely involved with that. LittleBigPlanet 2 got a release date. It's coming November. Excited? Yes?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I will be when I plop that game in. Do you plop games into
You could
PS?
plop. I suppose
No,
you
now
could
that
plop
there's
a
no
game.
disc tray.
If there was a tray, you could
All right,
plop.
so when I slide that game in and I finally am playing it, that's when I'll be excited.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
We'll get to this in tow as well.
Did we know that was going to be out this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Logo licensing program for PlayStation merchandise is currently going down, so now people can put officially licensed toilets out on the market for PlayStation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not awesome.
I don't want to crap on a PlayStation toilet though.
Don't you?
How about just a toilet seat for PlayStation?
Don't you?
Hayden Blackman, he's an executive producer and writer on Force Unleashed 2, has left LucasArts after something like more than a decade. He's been there forever.
Yeah, 13 years, I think.
Did they give a reason at all, or just?
I didn't read the whole story all the way
right.
through. It just broke really before we.
All right.
Well, it broke late last night and then into today.
I mean, it couldn't have been for a good reason because Force Unleashed 2 is not even out yet.
That game looks good though. If that game is not good, I'm gonna be so disappointed. It looks so good at Comic-Con, like watching around, just cutting off arms, blowing, convincing stormtroopers to jump out windows to kill themselves. That's awesome. That's such a cool idea.
Suicide.
Rated E for everyone.
Yeah, totally right. The Wii motion controls to help choke people. That's great. Colin.
Yeah.
This is one I know has got you excited because we talked about this on Beyond before.
Okay.
When will the PlayStation 3 outsell the 360?
According to Jim Riley,
Yeah.
by the end of this year.
According to Jim Riley in other news published reports, currently life to date, 360 sold 41.7 million units.
Worldwide.
Correct.
Worldwide.
PS3 life to date worldwide 38.1 million.
Right.
On top of this news, Sony is forecasting 15 million PS3 gets sold this year.
Right. So I guess Jim's doing the math or whatever. I haven't looked at like Microsoft's predictions or whatever for this month or this year, but he was saying that by the end of the year, if these predictions hold up and Microsoft hits, I guess, their goal of selling how many consoles they're going to sell, 10 million, 9 million, something like that, Sony is going to take the lead by the end of the year.
This is interesting because we had this just a couple episodes ago. I think Nicole Tanner, us, Jim Riley. Was Jim in here? I don't know. Anyways, we did the bets on when this was going to happen.
Right. I said next year, but I guess it's going to happen sooner.
Some listener will need to pick the episode and let us know again because I forget what we actually decided. But very interesting. Those are good numbers.
It's exciting. I mean, because obviously Mark Ryan and I were talking about it before, and PS3 is probably always going to get beat by Xbox in the United States.
What?
But
Probably.
I mean, like as far maybe not every month, but I mean there's a pretty big gap between them in the United States overall, and it's gonna be hard to to overcome that rather. But
Perfect Dark Zero was a siren song that brought everybody in when that 360 launched.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I was saying too is that you and I've said it so many times, like when you consider the 360's year head start on PlayStation's already outselling 360, so like this will just put the icing on the cake, as it were. Yeah. As Jim Riley said in his Twitter update, goodbye second place Microsoft.
Burn.
So that is a burn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then rounding out the Roper Report this week from Comic-Con, some Twisted Metal details.
Oh, yes.
I was in this Twisted Metal panel, Ryan, having a good time. David Jaffe's up there. He's playing the game. He's cursing.
Is he allowed to curse on the show? Or on
panels?
on the panel?
They have little things that say, please don't. Please, there might be children in the audience, whatever, blah, blah. David Jaffe, he don't give an F.
Yeah.
He's David Jaffe. He's the man. Made God of War, a bunch of other awesome games. He's now
Calling all cars.
Oh, why did they have to shut down the servers? Why couldn't that game have been more popular? Yes, great stuff. There was an annoying kid in this panel, though, who kept running around behind me in the very last row screaming. Like, he was like a little kid. His mom or dad was there watching.
And David Jaffe killed him?
No. You could tell he was starting to lose his cool down.
Okay.
Anyways, though, what they did is they talked about the fact that they started doing single-player details. Single player, they're going to have live-action cutscenes, right, to tell you the story of how these people became the murderous people we know.
They're doing live action.
Yeah. It looked kind of cool. Like, it might be.
This is good.
Yeah, it looks good. It had it was Sweet Tooth, Dollface, and then one other dude, Grim, I believe, right?
Grim,
the motorcycle guy?
I don't recall.
Do you have a skull for a head?
He's in it. That guy's in it, but I don't know if he's the guy. There's 3. Here was the big deal out of this for single player. There are 3 playable characters in the story mode. You can't be any character anymore. You can use any car. You can switch in whatever car you want. But for the story, you only get to play as those 3 people. The really cool thing, I think, is that there's 3 difficulties for the game. Every difficulty for every character leads to a different ending.
Well,
so you get 9 endings in one game.
In the old ones, if you played through an easy, you would get the ending, but I think you would only get like half of it or something like that. Like, it would end prematurely, and so you had to play on the harder difficulties to get the full ending. So
that's sort of I like that. That's replay value.
Yeah, it's neat. Good.
Mark Ryan's got a butt though. He's got a big butt hanging.
But all of those playable characters had their own. You could play through as any of them and get an ending.
Were they different though, based for the character?
Yeah. Yeah, every character had its own name. That was like for me, that was like one of the defining things about Twisted Metal is that every character has a cool ending, and the ending is that character is playing through the game to try and get their wish. They get their wish, and it gets turned around on them.
Of course, it's horrible. And why they do this?
Yeah,
exactly. Their lives are ruined.
But it's awesome.
Okay. Well, see, as a casual Twisted Metal fan, I was fine with this. Oh, we're gonna have this cool multiplayer. It doesn't matter. We're gonna have multiplayer, cool factions, all that stuff. Single player, 9 endings. I'm down with that.
Not cool.
Kids were the hardcore Twisted Metal kids started flipping their lids, and David Jaffe's on Twitter, right? And he is yelling at these people. I've never seen someone tweet like this. All caps, tweet.
Whoa.
What? A phone call on Podcast Beyond? That's not. Hold on.
Podcast Beyond, this is Greg.
Hey, Greg, this is David Jaffe calling from Eat, Sleep, Play.
And Scott Campbell here in Utah.
Oh my goodness, guys! What an we were just talking about Twisted Metal. David, I was at your Comic-Con panel there for Twisted Metal. Why don't you explain how is single player working this time around?
Well, we tried to explain it. Scott and myself and Kellen, the creative director, we were all there. And I think what happened, frankly, we were all so stunned we had such a big crowd. We were like, shitting bricks before because we didn't see anybody lined up, and we thought we were going to be speaking to like 5 people. And once we got in there, we realized, oh my God, this is a packed house. Probably some of our, or certainly my communicative faculties left me. So what I was trying to explain was that our single player is really, this is the most robust single player we've ever done in Twisted Metal. And then in the past, it's been very much following a fighting game structure. You'd go through like 8 levels, and then you'd fight a boss, and then you'd rinse, repeat, and see different characters. But the gameplay was identical, with the exception of it being a different vehicle. And in this one, we have 3 human characters. We have Sweet Tooth, Mr. Grimm, and Dollface. But they can change vehicles. All of our 16 vehicles they can drive, and each one has their own unique campaign path through the single player. Each one has their own boss. Each one has either a brand new suite of levels or the same levels in some areas, but variety of things they're asked to do in those levels. And so from a nuts and bolts gameplay standpoint, we left the Comic-Con panel, and Scott, I don't know what you thought, but I was like, dude, I think this single player is really robust and fresh for Twisted Metal, and I was stunned to kind of see people going, dude, this isn't what we thought it was.
Yeah, I think I was a bit stunned as well, because like you said, we're trying to eliminate the rinse and repeat syndrome that we've had, the formula we've had over and over. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of really focused on, well, how do we richen up the gameplay, and we're still tying a cool, compelling story as you progress through it. But I think what players, once they get into the gameplay, they're going to be pretty stoked at all the different ways that they can play it, new different features that we've added, some big features, some small features. But I think collectively they all add up and hopefully give them a new experience that they haven't had before with Twisted.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is I was talking to Scott. You know, we went to breakfast at Comic-Con, and I hate to say this because it makes me sound like a loser, but I can be like a yappy dog. Like I'll grab a bone and that's all I'll talk about because I'm so focused. And I'm like, dude, what can we do? What can we do? Let's address this. And I was talking to Scott today, and Scott, you know, to his great credit, was like, look, we have this great game. You know, we have this development time left. We can keep throwing wood on the fire and making it the world's biggest bonfire, or we can focus on what we've got in the game and put the time into making it awesome. And I think for us, it's like we absolutely hear some of these hardcore fans, and we're respectful and we're grateful for their support over the years. But Scott's absolutely right. If there's time to kind of address some of those issues of like, well, where's my character of Axel or where's my character of No Face, we'll do that if we can. But right now, what our main focus is we want to make this the best playing, both offline, online, single-player, multiplayer, Twisted Metal anybody has ever seen. And so that means our focus is on AI, our focus is on controls, our focus is on level design, and as much as it would be great to have everything in there at AAA level, we're not going to let gamers down with the gameplay, and so that's where our focus is going to be. And if we have time, we'll try to address, you know, some of the concerns that the players have in terms of specific characters. But right now, we just got to make a great playing game.
So people shouldn't freak out yet.
Well, they should. I mean, you know, look, they have an ownership of the franchise, which they've bought into. It's their franchise in a lot of ways as much as it is ours. And it's not that we don't respect what they're saying. It's just that I think ultimately players who go out and spend their money on this game, the gameplay and the multiplayer and the modes and the AI and the controls, that's going to be ultimately what they care about more. And yeah, it would be great to have every character in there that they love, but I think they're going to appreciate us putting our focus there instead of on individual characters that they might be missing.
I know it's so early in development right now, but one of the things I thought was really cool is that there's 9 different endings, right? I mean, there's 3 characters, 3 difficulties, and there's an ending for each one of them. How long is a single-player career going to be, you know, I mean, to go through that story one time?
I don't know. What do you think, Scott?
I think we were planning like between 4 to 6 hours.
So that's a lot of game.
Well, comparatively speaking, yeah. I mean, to a Twisted Metal game that you could usually get through in the single player, you know. I mean, you know, if you've got 16 cars and yeah, you play the same game over and over and over with every car, and let's say a campaign takes you 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you're talking, okay, well maybe that's now 8 hours or 9 hours, but it's the same game. That was the last time we did that structure and it worked. It was 2001, and so it's like for us, we would rather give, like Scott's saying, 5, 6, maybe in some cases 7 hours of a great campaign that doesn't get boring and isn't rinse and repeat, versus the same thing over and over, but be able to put a stamp on the back of the box that says, "Ooh, we have 16 hours of gameplay."
Well, good. I think you guys got a lot of work done here on Podcast Beyond. Before I let you guys go, so we can get back to the show, anybody who comes on the show, our catchphrase is Beyond, so I need you to give me a sign-off with yelling Beyond.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a hard time getting me or Scott to do this.
Come on.
Sony always tries to get us to do this stuff, like when we do video interviews, and it's like, say, Jaffe, designer, and they want to put all this fucking logo. I don't do that, man. I love your podcast. I love IGN. I've been an IGN reader for years. But
and one of the things that at one point they were going to have us dress up as clowns to give.
Yeah.
Oh, to come out at E3?
Yeah.
Well, I respect your decisions. Get back to work on that game, all right? Stop pissing people off.
All right. Well, thanks for taking our call. It's been good to be on your show.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Well, that was unexpected. I still fired up that David Jaffe and Eat Sleep Play.
My goodness.
They are just crazy.
I really want to break down what he just said point by point. I don't have the energy.
That's all right.
right.
Next time.
You know what?
What?
Jaffe just laid some truth on us.
Some truth?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But I want some more truth. Colin.
Yeah.
What games have come out? I just got back from Comic-Con. I've come out of my Comic-Con cocoon. I'm very upset that I'm not playing DC Universe Online. What can I play instead?
Well, you can look at the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all their platforms by the IGN editors.
Sweet home Alabama. I don't know.
So I didn't look at the list today, but I already know from the guide's planning calendar that I don't think anything came out this week.
Man, it really hurts you when they don't come out with anything, right?
I mean, I don't even, I get really down because I'm always excited. I go on GameStop and I'm like looking, and I look on the site, see what's been reviewed lately, and then we've kind of gone into this summer, in July, nothing comes out, and then, so I'm just kind of down on myself, and like I don't really know why I'm even living anymore, and like there's no PlayStation games coming out.
This is the problem.
Cheer up.
Go in the cocoon, the Comic-Con cocoon.
Yeah.
You see these games, now you want to play.
Don't go into the pit.
So yeah. I mean,
no, somebody's going to the pit. This hasn't happened in a long time.
I'm sure Zombie Blognac will have a little something for us though.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, what's the zombies got?
All right.
What's he been eating on?
What's this zombie been eating on? Here's the problem with this week's update. Was there any full PSN games to come out?
No.
Because if not, then this. All right. Well, that's a problem. But we have some amazing PS1 classics.
Oh no.
I have to read these: The Emperor's New Groove, Hercules, A Bug's Life, and Toy Story Racer. Do you see any similarities?
Disney just dumped its wares.
Woo! Just as a side note, the Transformers War for Cybertron DLC was emerged from its cryogenic cyber cocoon.
Our own Arthur Gies put up his preview today. What did he think of it?
Let's just say that not a lot of people playing the Transformers.
The blog role he used for it is Optimus Prime crying into his hands. So.
Exactly. Facepalm.
What does the DLC comprise?
It's more characters and more maps. I think a new
Two new maps.
For multiplayer?
For multiplayer. It's all
Wait, didn't that
multiplayer
game
stuff.
sell well? People are already not playing it?
Yeah, apparently.
Or
it might just be they're not playing the DLC.
Arthur said that it was actually not a huge multiplayer game even when it came out because a lot of people were just playing the single player. But also,
that's not surprising.
Greg will know about this.
Oh, yeah, I will.
P.O. Tama PSP.
P.O. Tama PSP came out and it wasn't that bad. If you remember, it's an egg puzzle game. It came to the PS3 3 years ago, 2007. It came out $2 cheaper there. And now it's on PSP, $2 more. It's still a fun puzzler if you want to just a quick little puzzle, jump in, play a little bit. I mean, it's still only $5. It's not like you're getting ripped off bad or anything. But it's still
$5.
Interesting. Oh, Mark Ryan, he won't stand for this.
And there's a bunch of new discounts for PlayStation Plus too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have those.
Critter Crunch is free.
Yeah, Critter Crunch is free now. I thought it was gonna be Zen Pinball. I mean, we were reading that. I don't know.
You've thought that the whole time.
Well, I read that.
Someone throws something on a message board, and Colin goes, "Truth. I'm gonna make a feature about this."
And then I made the feature called Zen Pinball.
It's not just Critter Crunch. It's also Siphon Filter.
Yeah, Siphon Filter.
The PS1 game is Siphon.
Cahoots. What's Cahoots?
It's PSP Mini. It's good.
Oh, okay.
It's got a funny song that goes, Cahoots.
Crash Bandicoot 3 has a price reduction, and there are exclusive Super Street Fighter 4 PSN avatars.
Hey, Colin, you were saying that you were going to go home and play Siphon Filter. Did you ever follow through?
No.
I remember.
Of course not.
I remember when I was first playing that game, and a common criticism at the time was that the guy runs like he has poop in his pants.
Yes.
And I want to know if it still looks like that.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah, these PS1 games, I download them and then they sit on my memory stick, and then I need to clear space on the PSP Go, and I'm like, oh wait, why do I even have this?
Yeah, I don't download any PS1 classics.
What do you got? What do you got, Ryan?
I forgot something for the Roper Report.
What is it? Tell me.
Time for some late news. Can you talk about the meet and greet next week? Because
I don't have any details written down.
Damon
August
wanted
2nd?
to discuss this. It is Wednesday.
Wednesday at 4. Okay, Wednesday. What's that date? Do you know?
No.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg Miller. We did an awesome meet and greet down at San Diego Comic-Con. IGN paid for nothing. Not at all. We had 85 kids show up who they had to remember what they drank and ate and give me money for it so that we didn't get stiffed.
The kids were drinking?
Well, I call everybody kids.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah.
But yes,
anyways, we didn't get stiffed. The kids were great. We all had a great time. It was a crazy time. At the end, I took my shirt off because Damon told me to. It was dynamite. However, next Wednesday, hold on. Do we have the 2nd? The 4th, Wednesday, 4th, right. Wednesday, August 4th, at 4 p.m. in San Francisco, California.
4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
If you're in San Francisco and it's 4 p.m.
on Wednesday.
At 4 p.m.
On Wednesday, you need to go to 21st Amendment, downtown San Francisco, on 2nd Street, basically 2nd and Brandon. You go there. We're doing an IGN. We're filming a editor challenge. What do we call them? League of Editors tournament.
League of Editors.
It's sponsored by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. There's gonna be DDR to play, but everything's free. Free drinks, free food. We'll be there hanging out, having fun, shooting videos, having great times, playing games and stuff. Totally come if you're in the San Francisco area. If you're not, drive to the San Francisco area. Fly to the boat. If you
take a boat. Take a Sea-Doo.
I always enjoyed riding the rails.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead
can ride
and just
the-
climb on a
yeah.
freight train. I'm sure it's
Induction
coming here
grind.
eventually.
Induction grind to San Francisco.
There you go.
Induction
Yeah.
grind.
Skitch to San Francisco.
People really need to come to this because
We
the
never do
only
anything
meet-
free and fun.
The only meet and greet I have ever been to had a single,
Oh yeah.
but awesome, but single reader show up.
Yeah.
That was
That
that,
was
hip.
it.
That was that hipster douchebag bar in the Mission, right?
Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah. Zeitgeist is awesome. Shut up.
It's not a hipster place.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
like
There
bikers.
are a lot of hipsters there. There's a lot of bikers.
That's fine, but there's a lot of bikers there too.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot
bikers,
of people
as
who
we
just
know,
want to hang out and drink in the backyard.
Bikers are cool.
Yeah,
No, not bikers
Every
like
single-
motorcycle.
yeah. I'm talking.
Like messenger
That's not a
bikes.
Like the
Biker.
guys that slow down traffic
That's
in
a
San Francisco.
cyclist.
Like Charles Oniet.
Oh.
No, I'm looking.
Ooh. All right, yeah. So come to that. Have fun.
Please.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
want to
great.
meet some of these fans.
I'll be there, but you have to talk to me and you have to preface your first sentence with beyond, or I'm not even going to acknowledge that.
Even me.
Yeah, anyone that talks to me.
Colin, I'm such a huge fan. Get out of my face.
The bartender must say beyond before he asks me what I want to drink.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just going to stand there.
Or no tip.
You're just gonna stand there staring at him.
Maybe we can have our Team PlayStation shirts by then.
I'm excited because
Let's expedite.
21st Amendment has some pretty decent pomegranate cider, I believe, or
And
something
some
like
awesome
that.
fried pickles.
Or maybe not
They
pomegranate.
have fried pickles?
Yes. And they are so good. All
Ooh.
Oh no.
right, so come to that.
Oh no.
Pick of the week sounds like we got nothing.
No, pick of the week is
Critter Crunch. It's free.
yeah,
Good call.
Critter Crunch is a good game.
Critter Crunch is a great game, especially if you are PlayStation Plus and
I
get it for free.
bought it, so I got that's
Bought
why
it.
maybe Zen Pinball was more wishful thinking than anything else.
Are you the king of wishful thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so you bought it before? So
Yeah,
you
I
don't-
bought
you don't
Critter
get-
Crunch a long time ago.
You don't get the benefit of it.
We're going to get to this. We got some reader mail
Okay.
on this very subject. Trophy tips. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Baby. Just tip. Just tip.
As if it didn't sound pornographic enough.
I got some trophy tips.
Go. I didn't play much this weekend.
So what I did was I endeavored to go back and play Heavy Rain because, as you know, Beyonders know, my save wouldn't work. Like I don't know why. After
Convenience story.
after update 1.01 came out, it wouldn't work, and then update 1.02 came out. I didn't even know about it. I was actually just going to start the game fresh.
Yeah.
I download the update, my save works, so I played through the rest of the game. And then I end up going after the Platinum Trophy. Now, that is one of the rare games that get better the
that's
more
what I said,
and
dude.
more you play it.
I said that from day
to the
one.
point where like that game was like that's a really cool game and I like it. To the point where it's like that's one of my Game of the Year contenders for
Wow.
sure. It's not as good as Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is still my Game of the Year, but that's definitely one of my games.
You didn't mention that or God of War 3, though.
I know. Oh yeah, so I found.
Oh.
Also, just as an aside, I found a story written about me on some random blog
I like how
about
you say blog.
about how. Remember when we did that piece about games of the year, like, or it was Red Dead Redemption, and like how we all felt about it,
Yeah.
second opinions. And I wrote how Mass Effect 2 and Mega Man 10 were my favorite games of the year so far. And someone wrote a story about it because I didn't say that Heavy Rain or God of War 3 were my favorite games of the
Yeah?
year. So that's just a funny aside. I showed it to Mark Ryan. He got
Colin,
it.
I do have a Heavy Rain question
Please.
for you, though, if you don't mind.
Please.
How far would you go to save your son?
I went far enough to beat the game like 17 times. I saved him many times.
All right.
But you know, it's cool. It's like it was a really satisfying platinum to get. I suggest everyone really go out and get it. You need a trophy guide. Our trophy guide's really good. Our FAQ editor Stephen Ng's brother wrote it, and it's excellent, and it was really helpful.
I don't know if we should have said that. He doesn't put his name on anything.
Nah, whatever.
Oh.
And
No, it's
Again.
fine. It's fine.
and
you
it's
sure?
just weird. It's just like, you know, usually when you're going after a platinum, the game you end up hating the game by the end of it. You're just like, I don't want to play
This
this
was a
game
fun
anymore.
one to get.
Yeah, this was like, you know, one of the really rare ones where I was like totally satisfied with this
Going
game.
for it always you showed you something new. That
Yeah.
like that whole game's about discovering stuff, and so to go through and do it, yeah, it was.
It was
great.
insane, like how many endings there are. Like the
Yeah.
22, I think, epilogues or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
What's
really
that?
cool.
What's that about?
What I didn't like is that it totally ruins the experience for me at the end when I beat the game. I see the ending, I think like, oh, that was great, and then it plays like 5 some semi-unrelated sequences that totally threw off the pacing of the ending. I thought it was very
like the last Lord of the Rings?
It was extremely it was way worse than that because the last Lord of the Rings was awesome.
Okay.
But I don't know. The pacing and the storytelling was so great in that game.
Yeah.
When I got to that point, I was like, what are they doing here? I didn't need to see all those
Those are
different
your
things.
rewards for making your choices.
Yeah, well, that's the way that the different choices you make with the different characters. That's the only like they couldn't possibly make different endings with all the permutations that all flow together. You know, I mean that
But
would.
you don't have to though. You could have made those choices be reflected during gameplay. It didn't have to all take place at the end. You know. I mean, if I let's say I beat the game and everybody's alive.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't need to see them.
You don't want to see them happy afterwards?
Well, yeah, but I assume. But there are a lot of things you can make assumptions about.
I like seeing it. I like to see them go into their dumb apartment.
So you like to see that terrible ending of
spoilers?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm going to do a spoiler because I want to talk about spoilers too. So there's going to be Heavy Rain spoilers for the next couple minutes.
No, I'm not even going to try and spoil anything. The guy with the glasses.
Jaden?
Yeah, Jaden.
Yeah.
The one ending I was really upset with you about that I messaged you about that you couldn't even explain to me because it didn't make any sense.
Wait, I can explain any Heavy Rain ending. Yeah. It's the tank coming up on his desk.
Yeah, that was I didn't understand.
Ari's ruined his mind.
Yeah.
That's all. But he's broken.
But that
it's grafted itself to his brain.
What's annoying about that is
that doesn't connect with anything that we were enjoying in the story though.
Yeah, it does. He was using it too long. Remember, sir, too much of it'll kill you, or whatever that butler said.
Yeah, he was talking about the drugs. The
no,
butler.
he wasn't. That's what they wanted you to think. If you play all the endings, it's clearly about the glasses, because at one point when he's keeping him on too long, he starts bleeding out the nose and dying. That's not the drugs. That's the Ari killing him. All the other endings point back to this.
All right.
Oh, Mark Ryan hasn't played. You're going to play it, right? So we probably shouldn't spoil it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ari's bad, but you have to use it. There you go. Spoilers. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to play my miniature guitar USB.
Yeah, I was going to spoil something because I wanted to talk about it great, but if Mark Ryan hasn't played it yet, I'm going to respect that.
Okay. So your trophy tip is to get this platinum.
Yeah, Heavy Rain Platinum, totally
use our guide.
Awesomely satisfying, right. Yeah. I'm going to go for the Land of Bandit trophies next because I have to review it anyway.
Okay. Did it take a long time?
What, Heavy Rain?
Yeah. Getting the platinum.
It probably took me like a concerted 30 hours of play time. Yeah, I would say.
Sounds about right.
Not a trophy tip at all, but just a trophy sequence for you. I had a dream last night, and the dream was that I was on ps3trophies.org, and they had the DC Universe trophies. And I was very excited. That is how much I want this game, is that I'm dreaming about reading about the trophies.
You're dreaming about it.
You're excited about it even though it's going to have a monthly subscription fee?
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We have 3 DC Universe questions, and that's when I'll rant a little bit more about all this.
Okay.
Topic of the week. How are we doing on time?
Can I give a trophy tip to Sony real quick?
No, you can't. Yes, go ahead, Mark Ryan.
Sony, please allow me to disable trophy notifications. Please. Thank you. That's it.
You can do that on Xbox, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but
without the interruption that we had, we've been recording for 41 minutes.
All right.
Oh, we're fine.
Okay. Topic of the week. SOCOM's been delayed. What does this mean for Sony's back half of the year here? The holiday season, the holiday rush, if you will.
Yeah.
You figure they still got Gran Turismo 5, LittleBigPlanet. All the Move stuff will still be very fresh at that point. Sly Cooper collection.
3 plats.
Is that it, though?
That's it.
That's the big stuff we rattled off before this podcast. We didn't
I can't think of anything
I'm sure
else.
we're missing something, and some kid's going to freak out. But that should tell you, the excitement level of the stuff they have coming. Mm-hmm. Next year looks awesome.
Yeah, next year's going to be really
Killzone.
Infamous. Last Guardian.
Let's not count our chicken.
The Last Guardian's going to come out next year.
Yeah, that makes sense. They've been showing so much of it.
Resistance 3 is also coming out next year.
Yeah. All right, this is grandiose. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I left SingStar Dance. SingStar Dance should be out in 2010.
You know what else is out?
Should we worry? What?
Is next year? You know what else is out? That movie Sucker Punch, which I'm very excited about.
That's completely off the topic.
You know what else is going to come out next year? Castle Crashers.
What do I care? No, probably not.
Nope.
I don't think Castle Crashers will ever come out.
Dude,
what are they up against?
What do you mean?
What's coming out for Xbox? We got
Halo Reach.
We got the
Halo and Fable are the big games that are coming out this year, and then next year it's Gears. But other than that, I really don't know what other massive exclusives they have. I think next year the PS3 is really going to shine. But
do you think this is Sony's new plan then? That have a conservative holiday and then load the front half of the year like they did this year? Heavy Rain, God of War.
Yeah, because I think Move is probably going to do okay. Sports Champions is a cool game, and I think that people are going to like it.
Yeah.
From what I watched it pretty extensively. Someone was hogging it behind closed doors at Sony, so I got to watch and play. But it was cool. It looked really fun. I think that game's going to do well. They have Move. Heavy Rain and Resident Evil 5 are going to have patches for Move. They're going to have some other Move games, I guess. And then, Gran Turismo is going to sell really well. It's going to push a lot of units for PlayStation 3s.
Gran Turismo's huge.
And I think that's why, exactly. And I think that's why they're not afraid. I think that game's going to sell like hotcakes, And then, and then they're going to have Sly Cooper.
When was the last time you saw hotcakes?
I was about to ask that too. That's an interesting expression. You don't see hotcakes.
Wait, you go to
selling as
McDonald's
fast
in the
as-
morning? People are buying hotcakes left and right.
Yeah.
I would say Egg McMuffins.
Oh.
So like Egg McMuffins on
No,
a
it's a
morning. What? Tell me.
It's a digression. I don't want to. You yelled at me last time when I was like, you were like, that is
I
completely
didn't
off
yell at you.
topic.
Wait, I
just
forgot.
said-
You were yelling.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Sucker Punch the movie. I'm not too excited about it.
What?
Yeah, I went there.
All right.
First
I
off,
for-
it's
I
stealing the
forgot
name
something
of
for
an
Roper
infamous
Report.
developer, which I don't
No,
like.
whatever. Anyway, can I just say something real quick?
Please.
When I took a red-eye flight recently, I was fine. I got to an airport and it was something absurd, 4 or 5 in the morning, maybe 6, somewhere in that range where I would absolutely never be awake under normal circumstances. And I was finally able to get a McDonald's breakfast again.
Oh, isn't that
'Cause
lovely?
I have not done that in years, literally years. I have not had a McDonald's breakfast.
What'd you have?
The biggest combination that
Okay.
they have.
Like the pancakes and the eggs and the sausage.
Yeah,
and all
and the
that stuff?
sausage, and there's a
Ooh.
biscuit, and there's
How was that?
there's hash browns, and I was like, oh God, just give me this food. I was just sitting on the floor eating it. I felt so disgusting,
It's great.
but it was
And then
great.
you had that grease in your hands.
Yeah, and then I
McDonald's
washed
grease.
it off, and then I regretted it for the
course
rest
you
of the
did.
day.
Is anything else different about a McDonald's at that time of day? Like, do they have servers that come out like Denny's style? Like
It was
old
in
ladies
it was
pouring your
in
coffee?
the airport, so it was built right into one of the walls of the airport.
Can I get you excited about something?
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I read a report about how McDonald's, they're a big company, so they move very slowly.
Oh, are they?
They're a pretty big
Have
company.
they expanded past the Mason-Dixon line yet?
Yeah, they're you can find them in the South now. I think they're moving to Canada.
Oh, wow, okay.
And
They're almost as big as IGN.
yeah, exactly. So they're like kind of a lumbering behemoth, and so they don't move very quickly. So I imagine this is still in the works. But I read a story that was broken that a lot of people picked up about how they're looking to retrofit all of their kitchens so that they can do breakfast all day. And the reason that they can't do it right now is because I guess, like for instance, the deep fryer is used for like the hash browns in the morning and then fries in the afternoon and at night or whatever. So they need to figure out ways to like do things so they can have everything going at the same time. Now,
I love this conversation.
now that got me very excited.
Okay,
so I
good.
thought that maybe
It would be awesome. Now
I love an Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
If like when you and Jim are walking over there, I'd go get an Egg McMuffin. Sure.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day, why not?
yeah,
All right.
for sure.
I personally love the hotcakes.
I only allow myself to have fast food like once every month though.
I'm getting McDonald's for lunch. It's on.
All right. All right. I think we accomplished some good stuff here.
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah, this is
Sorry
good.
about that. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
a little
I
bit
think
of
I
a-
think we nailed it.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to be a very impressive holiday, but it's going to be fun. The Gran Turismo is going to sell. I'm really interested to see what Little Big Planet does. I know that underperformed the first time around for what they expected out of it.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought it did pretty well. I mean,
No, it did well
Well,
enough, but
long
they were
burn.
expecting gangbusters. They thought this was going to be the one that made like this was the hey, you can play with your kids, be a cute little sack guy, run around.
this
do
was their Wii Sports.
exactly that, and it did not bring those kind of
No.
numbers. So
Do we think 2 is going to be better?
that's what I don't know. I mean, I think 2 looks way more complicated. It intimidates me, like looking at it, like as far as the create stuff. So I don't know
Really?
how that sucks.
Because
people in.
they,
Yeah.
when I was interviewing, oh my God, Adam, what's his name?
Evan Wells.
Yes, thank you.
No, that's Naughty Dog. Don't attack me, everyone. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yep, I
It
knew
is
that was
Evan though.
It is Evan.
I think so.
Oh no, this is terrible.
Alex Evans.
Alex Evans.
There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Because I had the A name.
That was close.
See
Yeah.
what I did? See what I did? All right, Alex Evans. Alex Evans is an awesome guy, which is why I felt so guilty about his name slipping. But when I interviewed him during E3, he was really insistent that even though there's more, the users have more power to create, they've refined the creation system to make it easier. He seemed to really believe that. So
I believe them, but they just haven't demonstrated that to us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you figure if you're, I made a level, and it took like a better part of a week to get it how I wanted it, and it's super basic.
Yeah.
And you look at like the Space Invaders level they have, and people
Yeah.
riding these freaking wampas around. You're like,
Wampas? Is that a Star Wars?
Yeah, it's a Star Wars reference. Yeah.
Come on.
What? I knew that. That's why I'm saying is that a Star Wars reference.
All
It's
right.
not like, what's a wampa?
What's a wampa on the
Hey,
tauntaun?
Colin.
What?
I actually do not know what a wampa is.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. All right. So Mark Ryan once, because I'm a Star Wars, like an old school Star Wars nerd, and he just to make fun of me asked me how many Y's were in Kashyyyk, and I was like 3. And he was like, it's like, yeah, I thought so. But a wampa,
just making a point.
A wampa is a snow creature found on Hoth, and that's what attacked Luke Skywalker
Yeah.
in the cave.
Where's Hoth? Is that like
That's the
downtown
ice
San
planet.
Francisco?
It's an ice planet. It's far away. It's in
Wait.
another system.
Hey, that's what it is, really?
Yeah, tauntauns might be the one you're thinking of. They're the ones that you
What's
ride.
the?
Are those the ones that you
What are
sleep
the
inside
rats
of?
that he shoots to practice on Tatooine?
Womp rats.
Oh, Womp. Okay, well, there's a little repetition there in the Star Wars canon. I see what Lucas did.
I don't know how the hell I know that.
What's the origin
A
of the
lot
walk of that?
accomplished. And Topic of the week this week.
Yeah, this is not
We've just lost half of our user base.
Hey,
No, yeah, I'm sure Star Wars really doesn't connect with their listeners.
I'll tell you this though about what we were talking about. Back on topic with Toto.
Yeah.
Is, there's evidence that Little Big Planet 2 is going to sell pretty well because when you look at Uncharted and Uncharted 2, Uncharted did well.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a slow burn, but Uncharted 2 sold better. So a lot better. So the people that didn't buy Uncharted bought Uncharted 2. Not really sure how that works. With Little Big Planet, I think it actually makes more sense to buy the second one because the games are pretty much the same and it's just kind of an expansion of the idea.
Yeah.
And not really a story. So
I don't know. I think Sony actually has a history of producing these really original games and then the sequels not being as big a deal as other ones like Loco Roco, Patapon, or even far back as Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, God, don't get me started
These
on that.
really original,
What a
cool
disgrace.
games. They get a lot of attention. They don't do gangbusters, but they very well-received
Right.
games. And I sort of, in my mind, I see Little Big Planet 2 sort of getting that sort of reception.
We'll see. I mean, I think the big game obviously is going to be. Gran Turismo is going to sell millions of units.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So I don't think there's much for them to worry about. Halo's obviously going to sell an insane amount of copies, and Fable will do well for the core RPG guys on Xbox. Fable 2 did really well too, but I don't think there's much for them to worry about because swinging into next year, everyone's kind of getting used to 2011 and playing the games in their back catalog. In January, come early February, Killzone comes out. Game's going to be huge, and then we go from there. So.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be fine. But I will keep an eye. I really think that, in terms of what we were talking about with Jim Riley before with the numbers, the unit numbers, Gran Turismo is going to sell PlayStation 3s. It's not only going to sell copies of the game. It's going
This
to
is the
sell.
one people are holding on the PS2
I really think
playing last Gran Turismo.
because I read, Jim and I were talking about it, and I don't remember where I read it or whatever, but there was some survey, I'm sure it wasn't very scientific, but where they were saying that a good portion, like half of the people that intend on buying Gran Turismo don't have a PlayStation 3, which means that people are going to buy a PlayStation 3 for it or whatever. And I was telling Mark Ryan that it's too bad Gran Turismo.
They lie.
Well, it's too bad Gran Turismo didn't come out on time because those people might have still bought a PlayStation 3 and Sony would have gotten like $100 to $200 more from each person. But say la vie.
What are you going to do?
Way to go, Gran Turismo.
I love how we're still
Are you guys excited
talking.
about Gran Turismo?
No, not at all.
Me neither.
And I love how we're still talking about it. And when we were talking about it coming out when I started at this company 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it because it'll be a big deal for the community.
Oh, yeah, well-
I'm not a big racing fan.
Yeah.
The game looks great. I'll play it, but
I love Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that's a Mark Ryan game like through and through.
Yeah.
We'll see him on
love
PlayStation
me some
Network all the
cars.
time.
yeah.
Are you going to do a guide for that, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll definitely do the guide for that for sure.
Okay then.
That was a good
So
talk.
everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
is
Yeah, it'll be
basically what it
fine.
comes
Don't worry.
down to.
Don't worry,
I don't think
friends.
it's gonna be fireworks and craziness, but we'll have fun. There's no Uncharted 2. That's the problem.
Right.
We got spoiled last year, coming out of the biggest game.
But I mean,
the best game.
We'll be busy. We'll be busy. Sly Cooper is going to take a long time to get through all those games, get the platinums and all that. I mean, we'll be fine. We'll have some downloadable games coming out. That game I saw last week, Explodamon's probably going to come out this fall. Game's going to be dope.
And you
got a lot of.
To be fair, you guys are only talking about exclusives right now. You're not talking about.
Yeah,
Third
that's a
party,
good point
yeah,
too. Is that New Vegas is definitely my most
Yeah,
anticipated game. That
yeah,
game
dude.
comes out right after my birthday, mid-October.
DC Universe Online.
DC Universe Online is going to be cool. We'll get to that, I guess. I mean, Assassin's Creed is coming out.
Yeah, brother.
I honestly, I'm really excited about Sports Champions. I don't know why.
yeah, some of the move stuff.
Yeah,
maybe.
I really am. I'm excited about it. So,
Speaking of sports champions, let's get to reader mail.
okay.
Mail
Reader
call.
mail.
Mail call.
Malice. Male nutrition.
Who's at the door now? Is it David Jaffe?
Hello? Oh, it's the mailman.
Oh.
There he is.
Dean writes in and says, Beyond.
Beyond.
Just wondering if you knew if the PlayStation Move game Sports Champions will have trophies. Also, when will you be reviewing the game?
It does. When I was watching it be played, I actually saw a trophy pop. Believe it or not.
Okay.
So it definitely has trophies, obviously. And well, I don't know. When are we going to get the Move in Sports Champions?
I've heard rumblings of when Move should be coming. We should have reviews on this stuff before launch, well before launch.
Okay,
so
cool.
look for it. Hopefully early September. Maybe don't quote me on it. Maybe late August, but probably early September.
And I'm sorry. Were you going to say
Probably.
I was just going to say, quick side note, the thing you just said totally sounded like a lyric out of a hip-hop song. When you're like, let's see that trophy pop.
something? It is.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
That's the remix.
All right.
Also, I talked to Mark Ryan about it. I'm not sure what the time is how the time's going to work out, but I'd like to do a trophy guide for Sports Champions, just because I think people are actually going to buy that game, and it's
Well,
gonna,
yeah, it comes
it's
with
going
the
to be
Move.
bundled.
A lot
yeah.
of people are going to have it. Yeah.
So I think
What is the official move date?
The 19th of September, right?
Okay.
That's Sunday. That's a Sunday.
So hopefully keep an eye before I get because I'm going to be really busy with Fallout. So before we'll be able to get a few things in before that. And hopefully one of them will be Sports Champions.
Good. Ryan Grotz writes in and says, Greg, please make sure Ryan talks about his haircut he got last week.
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah.
I
It
noticed
was
it.
thank you. It was. I didn't put any product in it for today, though. I'm sorry, guys. The haircut was great. I went to the place that Jim Riley speaks very highly about. So I was really did not know what to expect because that man has some very interesting tastes. But as it turns out, it's definitely a very nice salon. They actually do allow you to wear a robe so that you don't get hair all over your clothes, which I thought was nice. However,
Real
I
quick,
would.
do you go to barbershops that don't do that? I've never gone to somewhere that doesn't.
Yeah,
do
they're just
that.
like, just wear your
no.
clothes.
No. It's that they usually always put on like the
Bib.
The apron.
Yeah, the giant apron type thing.
Yeah.
The Snuggie.
But that was also on top of the robe. Like you were allowed to change completely.
Okay, thank
put
you.
on the robe, then they put the thing on.
Did you take all your clothes off and put the
No.
robe on?
Well, I
Do
don't
people
need
do
to.
that?
I guess.
It's like a spa?
I just took my shirt off so it wouldn't get on the back of my back of my
So
shoulders.
it's
and
starting to get a
stuff.
little creeped out.
No, I was wearing. I didn't see any, nudity going on there.
Okay.
Here's what I would like to say though, because this salon is located in what I would assume is sort of a wealthier part of the city, or at least where they might get a lot of wealthy clientele. I feel like it's overpriced.
Really?
Yeah.
An $80 haircut?
Oh, I didn't pay $80 for it.
How
I
much
don't.
you-
I don't know.
It's a
I don't know who-
$65 haircut with a $20 tip.
Yeah, and I didn't pay $65 either, but so I don't know. I think Jim goes to like the most elite of the
shampoos
stylists
and
there.
that stuff. Yeah.
No, I got all that too, but mine was like $15 cheaper. So
Interesting.
$50?
50.
Yeah.
That's still too expensive.
That's not
I mean, it's
that's not
expensive.
that much.
But you actually
But-
do stuff to your hair. Like I just shave my head, so I
Yeah,
guess.
I do a lot of stuff. Like the girl that did it was amazing because she blended, like she did the buzzing up along the sides, and then she like would progressively put on a longer guard so that it like it goes really short and then blends like a couple layers out. Then she styled the top. It was great. It's good stuff. She took her time, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So there you go, Ryan Gratz. Ryan's haircut in a nutshell.
There's your haircut. Nothing crazy happened.
All right, so now we have a trio of DC Universe Online questions. I'll touch base on this real quick. MMO coming to the PS3 it puts you into the your own superhero or supervillain shoes in the DC universe. I'm very excited about it. Never been an MMO fan really, not because I don't like the genre, just because usually they're set in orcs and elves time, and that's not my deal at all. Right. So I know
Orcs
that
and
I'm,
elves are for dorks.
the more I hear
shut
about
up.
this game, the more my expectations go up, and I know I'm setting myself up to be crushed. But I'm going in knowing that it's MMO gameplay. You run up, you're just punching. Numbers are flying off heads. Use a superpower, wait for it to recharge. I feel like I have a good grasp on how realistic it's going to be playing. I'm very excited about the stories, how that's going to play out, because I'm a comic book nerd. Anybody else in the room have any interest in this game?
No.
No? Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's just fine. Just want to get a barometer. The reason I ask is we have 3 questions, which is more than ever, and we did the beta keys. They gave out beta keys, and those things, people are nuts for those. Like, I'm getting swamped. Damon's getting swamped about it. A lot of kids are interested in this game. I'm very excited about it. However, this week they announced it's going to be $15 to play online every month.
Yeah.
So let's get to
So
it.
answer those questions then.
$15 a month.
Roberta says, I've heard DCU is going to be $14.99 a month. Do you think it's worth it from what you've seen so far? Unknown at this time, Roberta. I'm definitely saying for the first month, for sure, it seems like it'll be fun. Like, that Blur trailer we put up is awesome, which sets up the story of how this world has superpowers, what end game you're working towards is fighting Brainiac, stopping supervillain, saving the world. It seems really cool. It depends on how many people are playing, how it runs, how the missions actually, go through. I've only done them at events. Who knows if they're going to be cool, what kind of loot I'm getting. I don't know. I'm excited, though.
Is the game selling for any cheaper than normal? Or is
Nope,
it
it'll still be $60, and then 15 tacked on every month.
That's no good.
That's upsetting. I know. Chris writes in, says I was totally pumped for DC Universe Online, but hearing the 15 thing has changed my mind. My question is, will you be able to play the game offline? Blah 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 blah. I mainly play single player stuff, so should I just erase DCU from my list? The answer, Chris, is yes. I talked to SOE beforehand. There is no offline game for this.
Wow.
So you have to be playing online. You have to be giving them money. It's an MMO. You should probably expect it. That's why I was expecting a monthly fee. I don't really care, even though I've never paid one before. And then Psychos69 says, hello, Beyond Gods.
Hello.
My question is, I'm very interested in DC Universe Online, and no, you can't create a Superman, you can create a Superman, Bat, or Flash archetype character. You can't. You see, you're making your own characters. Can't be established characters, but you can kind of have, their kind of powers, kind of thing.
Right.
Can I make a Green Lantern type of character? Thanks, and keep on beyonding. The answer is at launch, no. You cannot make a Green Lantern because the Green Lantern power ring. It's a very established character, just like Superman's established. If you're trying to be a Superman-like character, you have flight, maybe super speed. You have to balance that all out. Green Lantern won't be a thing, but at the panel I was hosting, they talked about how they want to tie into what's happening in the DC universe and big events, such as the Green Lantern movie. So maybe if DC Universe is doing really well, you could look forward to some kind of tie-in with the movie where you get to be Green Lantern for a while. That was a quick hit. DC Universe, 3 questions. I don't want to bore everybody here.
No, you're not boring me. Well,
I saw Ryan falling asleep. Your eyes were drifting. You were drooping.
I can
Drooping
assure
eyes.
you. I can assure you, if that's what it looked like, that's not what it is actually happening. Because I did not start nodding off.
Sure you did.
I just have a prediction, kind of. I don't really know anything about the game, but I just don't think this $15 fee every month. Oh, Ryan's asleep. I don't think the $15 fee is going to float. I bet you anything that game's going to be free online or much more discounted before very long after
Really?
it comes out. Yeah, I mean, if people, honestly, look at like we were talking about Section 8, for instance, is obviously you don't pay for it online, but that game dropped from $30 last week to $10 this week because it wasn't selling very well. So you imagine if people aren't going to be paying the subscription fee in addition to the $60 for the game, that they're going to drop the fee.
It's a very interesting experiment, right? MMOs don't usually come to the consoles, and when they do, they don't go crazy.
Right, and this is setting it up to fail, something like that.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think the reaction to the article, PC people were like, "Yeah, expected this," and everybody from the console was like, "Oh my god, I'll never do this. I'm canceling my pre-order." You know what I mean?
Did Final Fantasy 11 ever come to PS3?
It did, didn't it?
No, PS2, right?
Yeah, PS2. It was a PS2 one.
Oh, you use like the broadband connector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that giant thing. And
I bought that thing for Madden in like 2003, and then I brought it back.
I had me and a friend were like, "Oh, we'll play SOCOM together," and we never played SOCOM together. He couldn't get it to work. It was terrible.
That thing was complicated.
Hey, Colin.
Yo,
Chris wants to know
Uh-huh.
what PSN games are you looking forward to this year?
Castle Crashers.
It's not coming.
Wasn't there a multiplayer Shatter thing announced?
Yeah, but I don't know if they ever gave a date for it.
That'd be nice.
The problem with the PSN, right, is that it's very
Yeah, you don't
lucid.
know.
They don't tell you what's happening till it happens. I'm excited for Dead Nation.
Yep.
I think Dead Nation looks like a lot of fun, and I'm pumped for To Rover.
And the next game from That Game Company folks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Journey, I think.
Journey.
it's
Right.
called?
Yep.
That
That
comes
comes
out
out
this
this
year,
year?
though. That's 2011.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Explodemon also, again, I mentioned it before.
Is
But
Pixel Junk Shooter this year? I know.
I saw hands-on on the blog yesterday.
Yeah, they've been pushing it for a while now.
I think that might be coming out in the fall. There'll be games. We'll
I think
know
you guys
more.
need a campaign for a PS3 port of Limbo.
Oh, totally. Limbo's awesome.
Yeah,
We should
why
totally
isn't
get
that on
that.
PS3?
I
No, 'cause
haven't
it's
played it yet. I totally need to do that.
You want me to tell you how it
I'll
is?
do that this weekend. I'd prefer not.
It's all black and white.
Oh, okay.
But beyond that, man, beyond.
Beyond.
I would really like that Castlevania game on Xbox Live. Looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks
Awesome.
like fun.
Why doesn't that game come out on PS3?
I don't know, Grandpa.
This kind of leads into Chris's second question. Also, as a request, can we get some more PSN coverage on the site? Xbox Live has its own channel. What gives? I think we just talked about it. There was no games this week for the PSN. The PSN channel would be a sparsely populated place. Xbox Live consistently has games every week, multiple games every week. We do fine, I think, covering it as is and having it on the one PlayStation 3 channel where you don't have to go to 2 different places to try to figure it
Yeah,
out.
we squeeze a lot of PSN content into that channel, I think.
The good news, too, is that I was talking to Greg. We were just talking about it yesterday, is that I think next week I'm going to start writing a weekly piece on just what's come out on PlayStation Network, so you guys can kind of have a more easy sense of, because when you go to the PlayStation blog is great, but like it's a huge list. You don't even care about 90% of the crap that's on there. So
drop us a line on that one at beyond@ign.com. That's where you can send your questions as well. Like we said, we want to make the show more for you and the site, obviously.
Right.
In the old days, we used to do an article where we said, basically copied the PlayStation blog thing and said, here's everything that came out. And they never really did that much as far as traffic or anything else.
Right.
Colin's talking about just doing, here's what you need to pay attention to. Here's a really cool game.
Well, here are the games, and here are some cool
Basically cut out
themes.
all the filler and just go.
Yeah, there's too much stuff.
Okay. Now you've thrown me off, Ryan.
Oh, my bad. Hey, let's do a little song and dance.
Oh, here we go.
right.
Shady Pixel writes in. He says, I've got a code for any Mod Nation Racer fan. It was supposed to give you some kind of airplane card or whatever. I don't know. Here's the code. 8EBH33BGDRF. There's another number that goes there, but Shady Pixel asked that I leave it off. That way you can try to frantically type it in and figure out
That's
what
a good
that
idea. I
last one
like
is.
that.
Yeah, that is
it's
good.
not too bad.
That's cool.
That's shady.
It's better than when we were giving away
Pixel.
the Metal Gear codes, and we said like half the code, and then we said they'll half the code like later in the podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
We should do that again.
All right, we got one here about PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
It's from Ray Briggs II, not to be confused with Ray Briggs I.
So also Ray Briggs Jr. Is that the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Ray Briggs, right into beyond@ign.com. Let me know.
What is the difference there? Yeah. He joined PlayStation Plus right away. Blah 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 blah. now I find myself spending less money than I used to on the PlayStation Network store, wondering what games might drop in price or even become free down the road. For instance, I love the Monkey Island series, but I haven't gotten those because I'm thinking maybe one day they'll get cheaper.
Yep.
I was
Same
wondering
for
if
me.
anyone else is doing this.
Yeah. The same thing with the same game, actually.
Unintended
Yeah,
consequences.
it's exactly what I was going to say. It is an unintended consequence. And what they really need to do, honestly, I mean, it's tough. I think they need to make a choice on if they're going to start telling you ahead of time, 2 or 3 months ahead of time, like what games are going to be free. Obviously, that's going to kill sales for those games, but that's also going to increase PlayStation Plus memberships probably because people will be like, well, I know what's going to come out. I want these 2 games. This will basically pay for itself already, and I'll get all these other cool free content. And I'm sure they're already paying the creators of the games that are free anyway. Like I'm sure the guys who make Wipeout and all that get money, Critter Crunch.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to hurt their bottom line if they actually start announcing ahead of time. And they might see sales dwindle because, like I said, almost half the people on my list are PlayStation Plus subscribers. It'll be interesting to poll them and see, what are they buying games? Are they not buying games? Because I'm telling you, the Monkey Island games, I want them for the trophies, but I'm afraid to buy it.
I know. I got all mine. How do you like PlayStation Plus? Are you still liking it?
I dig it, man. I think it's great.
I like the idea of it still, but we haven't updated our stance very often. I'm still like $45 in the hole.
Well,
I haven't downloaded anything off PlayStation Plus.
Well, because there's nothing for you yet, but because you own a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I want Cuboid and Echo Chrome, and I'm going to buy them eventually, and we'll definitely add it to the list when it happens. But I just have too much stuff to play right now. I'm not going to buy them just to buy them,
Yeah.
So
that'd be crazy. Colin doesn't do crazy
I don't
stuff.
play those
I do
games.
crazy stuff sometimes.
Clements from the outside, what do you think of this PlayStation Plus?
Still totally fine with PlayStation Plus, but still haven't gotten it.
Okay.
I thought you had the
Ryan,
1
still
month,
hate
right?
it?
I never did that.
I never hated it.
I know. You're just like
I don't want anything to do with it.
you call it a poison. It's a pox on your landscape.
No, if you guys have it and are happy with it, that's
on
A-okay
both
with me.
your houses.
A final question of the week.
Mm-hmm.
This one, Ryan, you and I get to sit out. This one, Julian is taking the guides team to task. Hey guys, just wondering when the hell is the guide for Mod Nation Racers going up? Thanks, Beyond.
I actually asked Mark Ryan about this. Do you want
I would love it.
to answer?
I want to know how to beat all the lap times.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but we are
Mother.
we're not doing a guide for Mod Nation Racers.
Yeah, typically, Mark Ryan keeps his fingers on the pulse. He knows what does well. He knows what doesn't do well. Typically, racing guides don't do well.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo is a huge exception to the rule. That we'll do a guide for that, but. We did guides for my very first guide here in 2002 was for Need for Speed. Mm-hmm. We've done Need for Speed guides. We did guides for Blur or whatever, Burnout and stuff like that. I mean, they don't do that well. So we have limited resources. That's not a game we would do in house. We have limited freelancer resources. We have to make them do games that are going to get page views. So
you're monsters.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. You hate the PlayStation 3. Is that a fair assessment?
That also went into the decision making too.
Yeah, Mark Ryan.
So many Xbox
plus all the stuff
exclusives
he
we
said.
had to do. Okay.
Yeah, Mark Ryan and I are big PlayStation 3 haters, so we don't want to do any PlayStation.
I'll do a
guides.
guide for Mod Nation Racers right now. Here you go. Ready? Green light, you go, and when you get to a turn, you turn.
Hey, see, that's why racing game guides don't do that.
Yeah, it's not, like the NASCAR. There used to be joke NASCAR facts when I used to race for GameFAQs when I was younger or whatever, and it would just be turn left
Yeah, well,
and then
this is
copy
different.
and paste
There's
it
hidden
over and over
tokens,
and over
there's
again.
shortcuts, there's
Yeah, no, I know.
strategies for the bosses. Oh my goodness! All right, we're done with Reader Mail.
They're bosses?
Remember, if you want to be part of the show, beyond@ign.com, send it along. Speaking of being part of the show, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing the NCAA Dynasty. We're doing it right. If you want to play NCAA football 2011 with Greg Miller and his best friend, Patrick Polasic, you are welcome to join the team. What you need to do is send an email to podcastbeyond, beyond@ign.com, with the subject line NCAA. I will then go through. Poe is in Minnesota right now, but he'll be back soon. Then we'll start this. I want to kick off on Wednesday of next week. So I need you to get all your things in this weekend. We'll go in order of priority when we get to pick teams. We haven't decided what conference or any of that jazz, or even if we're doing a conference for everybody. It's going to be fun. Beyond@ign.com, NCAA stuff.
We already got a bunch of entries, so you're good to go.
I know.
So far.
Please do them again, though, if you did. Just for my own, you know what I mean? That's one of those things. And with these kids who, beyond@ign.com, I have one mailbox where I try to do this stuff. Don't PSN message me. Don't Facebook message me. Speaking of which, too, my Facebook is completely full. I can no longer accept friends. If that ever changes, I'll let you know. Look, follow me on Twitter, Game Over Greg. What do you got for the PSN hit?
PSN hit comes from
Two
Connor.
of them, right? Two of them this week?
Nope.
Blunder.
Nope, I only got one. Oh, well, whatever.
We'll do
You can
two.
always keep writing in because everybody does anyway. Connor writes in, "Hi, Ryan. I finally got around to finding you on here," as in Facebook. "And since I've been listening to Beyond since episode 1, I've wanted to do this for a very long time, but now seems like the best time of all. Anyway, I'll get right down to the point. At the moment, I'm only working 3 nights a week since the nightclub industry dips in the summer here in England." Pause for Greg's English impression.
Pop, give me a shitty like these biscuits and gravy. More.
Small British woman that had a stroke. And I have a lot of spare hours in the day to crack down with some gaming. So basically, I'm asking if I can be hit of the week. I play a lot of FIFA 10, GTA 4 Online, Call of Duty 4, and Killzone 2. My PSN is Conert, or C-O-N-E-R-T. No hyphens or anything. I almost thought it was concert for a second, and I was like, he just got the word concert? That's amazing. But it's not. It's Conert. Thank you, Connor. Thanks for listening. And PSN it confirmed.
All right. It's on the show in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to follow IGN on Twitter at IGN. Hard one to remember. You can find us all on the Facebooks. Again, I won't answer your emails there probably because my mailbox is full and I can't accept friends. But Ryan, still all over. Colin's still all over.
Yeah, well, I answer every message.
I have a Twitter account, and I'm going to tell you what. Maybe I'll start using it because I'm starting to agree with Greg about this Facebook business.
Twitter is a much more direct, easy way to talk to you. Facebook has 17 things for me to do, and then I have 45 invitations to events in Timbuktu
it's so
that
annoying.
I'm never going to.
And it's like,
why do you send me those kids?
I get like 20 free iPad if you click this.
Or I lost my cell phone.
Yeah. Oh my God, unbelievable.
That's my favorite.
Man, I don't get any of that nonsense.
Yeah, I do have a Twitter account, and I have to effing write it out because I always. It's Plum Cider.
Plum Cider.
PWAM Cider, all one word.
Cool.
Cider is CIDER, if you didn't know.
Do not forget, come to do the new My IGN. Come to IGN.com. It's right there. You create a profile. I'm giving away PlayStation 3 and PSP games all week long. Giving out voucher codes for people who show up and try out the new stuff on my page and stuff. All right.
Can you have more than 5,000 friends?
Yeah, I can have unlimited friends. I mean, it can barely run right now, but when it's all said and done, it'll be fine.
Oh, and for our listeners that like electronic music, you can go on to myspace.com/Kleptic Center. Kleptic is KLEPTIC. Kleptic Center. It's actually one of our freelancers, Mason, who I was just listening to his stuff the other day. It's really cool. It's like nice. Kind of chill electronic music that he's eventually going to put on iTunes, but you can listen to it for free on that MySpace.
Cool. So what are we playing out with then this week?
Well, you know what we're going to play out with?
Yeah, what's
It's got to be a really quick one, but it's going to be...
Team PlayStation Assemble! You got Greg Miller and guys Goo Crowd. You got Ryan Clements and sometimes Mark Ryan Sally. We haven't sung in a long time! Beyond, beyond, beyond. Beyond, beyond, beyond. Beyond!
Beyond!
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.